Hey everyone, it's your boy Richard Graves of Richard Graves Group. Just thought I'd have a little short video for you today. Talk about this thing with Nikki Haley. Yesterday, Nikki Haley, who was stumping to be the Republican nominee to run for president of the United States, was up in New Hampshire and she was asked questions by the audience. And one of those questions was, what was the cause of the Civil War? So without further delay, I'm going to let you hear how Nikki responded to it. This video that we're about to play is courtesy of Forbes. And let's just let her words speak for herself.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry? I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of the people are. And I will always stand by the fact that I think government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. They don't need to tell you what you can and can't do. They don't need to be a part of your life. They need to make sure that you have freedom. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way. What do you want me to say about slavery? Next question.
All right. Well, where do we begin? First of all, the fact that this is a gotcha moment. Okay. It's a gotcha question, and it really shouldn't be a gotcha question in 2023, but it is. So there's a reason why that is a gotcha question. There's a reason why she tap danced around that answer. First, let's just be real. After this showing, I don't think this woman's fit to be president of the United States. And her not really answering the question isn't really the issue. The fact that she first says to the guy, "What do you think the cause of this?" The guy asks her a question, and she turns the question on the guy and says, "What does he think?" All right, which she's there to answer questions. She answers a question with a stupid question. Then, of course, when she answers it and tap dances around talking about anything substantive, she gets to asking the guy asks her about slavery. And then she goes, what do you want me to say about slavery? All right. So there's a couple of things I'm going to run over real quick, and I'm going to let you guys go. This is going to be quick. Number one, all right, the Civil War, she didn't answer the question, but the fact is, I think she was trying to go after something like states' rights and states interfering. And we know that that's that old, tired, revisionist history argument to try to make the South look like they had some noble cause and, they were fighting against tyranny of the North and yada, yada. All right, so let's be real. Two things are true. One, was the Civil War about states' rights? Yes. And was the Civil War about slavery? Yes. In fact, if you look at the Articles of Secession for North Carolina, the state that she used to be governor of, you will see states' rights mentioned, and the right they're talking about is the right to maintain and forward the institution of slavery. It's just that simple. So that is, in fact, what the Civil War was about. Okay, and the reason why she's tap dancing, let me be clear. There's two reasons. One's the fault of the right, and one's the fault of the left. The fault of the right is this little branch of the right wing called the Neo-Confederacy. All right. And what I mean by that, these are people that hold on to the idea of, the South being this noble, part of America that was being infringed upon by the North and tyranny in the North and blah, blah, blah. All right. And unfortunately, it's part of the right. All right. And people, for whatever reason, you have people that are part of that group. And then you have the other part of the right who, I call this the ignorant part of the right, who believe in the South that the Confederacy symbols and all that stuff is just, about Southern pride. All right. And again, I understand that position, even though I disagree with it, because clearly, Confederate symbolism is about the Confederacy, and the Confederacy was about a bunch of traders who wanted to, fight against the North. A bunch of people who didn't own slaves getting manipulated into fighting for other people to have the right to own slaves. And that's it. That's all. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. The reason why she cannot say this is because of the left. Let me explain that. The left created a situation with this whole anti-racism and, all this push of racial justice and stuff like that, where they went to the absurd. And now it's become a point where you can't have a real conversation. You can't have a real conversation about the causes of the Civil War. Because you have a portion of the left who wants to act like America is this evil empire, has done all this evil, and that we're defined by it. Then you have that portion of the right who pushes back, saying America is the greatest country in the world, and we made some minor mistakes, but we're good. And the actuality is, we made some big mistakes as a nation. When the nation was founded, it was founded on some very great Enlightenment principles that we strive for and that we've gotten better at. And when we were founded, there were still some things wrong. We had slavery. We had women didn't have rights. We had Native Americans being, genocide was being, perpetuated to them. And there's been a whole lot of things that have been wrong in the United States. And contrary to what the left likes to forward, with all those things being wrong, the country still is the best country that we've had in human history, with the best form of government we've had in human history, with all its flaws. And the Enlightenment principles upon which the country was laid down upon, we keep moving forward and getting closer to meeting those expectations, those thoughts that the Enlightenment thinkers had about liberty, justice, individual rights, and things of this nature. So we've gotten better. We've gotten better with the issues of race. We've gotten better with the issues of, women's rights. As far as reconciling with Native Americans, we have. Do I think there's ever going to be a point the land's going to be given back? No, I think that is something that is just not going to happen. And that being said, Nikki could have answered the question straight out, but she's so afraid to offend the Neo-Confederacy or the parts of the Trump group that are part of that group of right-wingers that she just didn't even answer the question. She went on some stupid rant that made no sense. And then she had the nerve and audacity of trying to turn the question on the person asking the question. And honestly, is this what we want for America? And it's sad that this is where we're at. We have candidates that can't even answer the most basic of historical questions straightforward. And like I said, I do blame the left and the right. I'm not trying to have a false equality between the left and the right when it comes to the issue of race in America. But I'm going to be the first to tell you there's racism that's on the right and there's racism that's on the left. And it manifests differently. Do I think most people on the left are racist? No. Do I think most people on the right are racist? No. But unfortunately, we've allowed the radicals on both sides to dictate how these conversations go. And this is what happens when you take things to the absurd. The conversation about race on the left has been taken to the absurd. You have people like Ibram Kendi and that particular group of that particular school of thought that believe nothing's changed and we're living the same existence as Black people as our ancestors were under slavery and Jim Crow. That is ridiculous at face value. We have to accept the fact that we move forward and that we continue to move forward and that things are better. I'm not living the life of my parents or my grandparents. And we need to be able to acknowledge how far we've come to actually understand where we're actually trying to go. And people who are unwilling to have that conversation because they're religiously tied to having race as being this type of all-encompassing problem. That is just intellectual fraudulency on their fault, and that's nothing I'm going to discuss any further in this video. Then, of course, you have the people on the right who want to live in the fairy tale world that America has never done anything wrong, live in the mythology of, with the South being this, the states' right issue, and defying the tyranny in the North. And they want to use that to try to contextualize modern political conversations. So both of them are absurd. So at the end of the day, Nikki Haley just really is unqualified to be president of the United States. I'm just going to say that just because she can't answer a straight question. If she can't answer that question, I fear for how she would deal with Putin or how she would deal with any of the other issues that our country has, because you can't even answer a straight question. That being said, I'm going to leave it alone. This is that. Hopefully we will talk soon, before the new year. I hope this has been educational for you. Of course, email any questions you may have to richardgraves@live.com. And again, please like and subscribe to our video channel on YouTube, and have a nice one. Peace.